In today's lesson, we are learning to identify and record fractions on a number line. For you to be successful, I'm looking that you can draw or name a fraction. You can identify that fractions are part of a whole, identify the largest and the smallest fractions from a collection, and order fractions and place them in the correct spot on a number line. Okay, so in today's lesson, we are looking at placing fractions on a number line. So we're going to start off with quarters. Now we're using a number line for today's activity. Our number line represents the start is 0 and the end of our number line represents our 1. So anything below our 1 is part of a number, not a whole number. So our 1 is our whole. So we know that when we are writing fractions like 1/4, that the number down the bottom here, the denominator, represents parts of a whole. So this is the parts of a whole that our whole is split into. And this number here is the selected number of parts. So we have 0, which represents our 0 parts of our whole, which is split into 4. And our whole would represent all of our parts, which is 4/4. So if we were to place our other parts along the way, we would have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, with our 4/4 representing as our whole. Next, moving on to 6. How many parts will our whole be split into if we're working with 6? That's right, it'll be split into 6 parts. So this here represents 0, 6, and our whole represents 6, 6. If we move across, we've got 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, and 5/6. Can you have a go at drawing up your own number line for 8ths? See if you can complete this by yourself on your page. All right, next we're going to move into placing a range of fractions on our number line. Now, like we looked at before, we know that this represents 0 down this end, and on our number line, this represents our whole. So 3 out of our 4 have 6 as the denominator. However, 3 here, split into thirds, if we double it, will give us 2/6. This is what we call an equivalent fraction. So 1/3 is the same as 2/6. So we're going to place our fractions on our number line. Now I know I can look at the numerator to tell me which one is higher and which one is lower. The lower number on in our fraction is going to be closer to our 0, with our higher numbers being closer to our whole, which is up this end. So my fraction 1/6 will be my first one here because it is, if I took away that, I would have 0/6, which would be our 0 mark. My next one is my 1/3, which represents 2/6. So I know that I need to jump across to my next mark for my 2/6. Next, 3/6, which is an equivalent fraction of 1/2. Sorry, that was my equivalent there. Next, I'm going to jump across. Now, I don't have 4/6 here, so I'm going to leave that because I haven't been asked to put it on my number line, but my last one here is 5/6, and I know that that's going to be my second last mark because my whole is represented as 6/6. Can you have a go at doing this for tenths for these numbers below? 2/10, 5/10, 9/10, and 4/10. Have a go at placing them on your own number line now. Okay, so you now have a worksheet to go and complete so you can demonstrate these skills. Remember, if you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email. You also have your mathmentals to do today, and you can jump on Mathletics and do some of the fraction activities on Mathletics. Okay, so for our last activity that we're going to do on this video together, I want you to draw up your place value houses again. However, this time we are going into 2 digits behind the decimal point. So that is represented in our hundredths column, which is represented by a lowercase h at the top of our house. So I'm going to go in and put in my 4 weights again, following those houses. For this activity, we're going to switch it up and we're going to go in ascending order, which means that we are finding the lightest weight and working our way up to the heaviest weight. So this time I'm going to the leftmost column again, which is our ones column for this question. And I'm instead finding the smallest number because we're going in ascending order. So my smallest digit that sits in there is my 4. So that means that my lightest weight is 4.90 kilograms. Next, I have 3 weights that all have 5 in that ones column. So what do I need to do? That's right, I'm going to jump to the next column, which is my tenths column. And I'm going to look for the smallest digit there, which for this one is 5.21 kilograms, and then 5.62 kilograms, and then 5.91 kilograms. Did you get that? Excellent work if you did. So that means that your lightest number is... That's right, 4.90 kilograms. And your heaviest number or weight is 5.91 kilograms. Great job. Okay, so I'm about to get you to do some of these questions all by yourself. If you've picked up a take-home pack, you'll have a piece of grid paper. However, if you don't have this at home, don't stress. You can just do it on a blank piece of paper like I did in my videos. So we're going to draw up our place value houses. We're going to do up houses that you can use whether you're working with grams or whether you're working with kilograms. So first you need to draw up your houses. You will need a column for hundreds, which is represented with a capital H, tens, which is represented with a capital T, ones, which is represented with a capital O, and then we have our decimal point place, and then these are numbers that are smaller than a whole. So we have our tenths, which is represented with a lowercase t, and then hundredths, which is also represented with a lowercase h. Have a go at doing these questions yourself. I'll be really excited to see how many of you can do this independently.